This week on Hermitcraft.
Law.
Less lore.
Law.
More
Law.
lore. Less lore. Lore is the law.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs. Our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And is anyone else concerned that this is starting to feel normal now? Which probably means that the next world-ending disaster is just around the corner? Yeah, probably nothing. Anyway, tag. When last we saw the Jester hat, it was squarely on the head of Jimmy Solidarity, and luckily it was a one-size-fits-all situation. So Jimmy tags Pearl by asking to see her elytra and then pushing her off a balcony.
There's someone else's wings.
My name, apparently. I've been called that several times.
Wings of Saint Perla.
Yeah! Ah! No! What? Wait a minute. I just got murdered by the sheriff.
Pearl tags Flip by tricking him into falling down a hole where a warden lies in wait.
Why is it a warden dead?
Yes!
Flip sets up an elytra course around his base just to have Impulse fly into some cactus.
You made a wall of cactus! Flip!
Impulse, I have something for you, sir.
No, you did.
Enjoy, my friend.
Impulse rigs up a temporary nether platform and a riddle written on signs, just so he can drop anvils on Scott Smager, who is used to wearing colourful hats on the regular, so he was fine hanging on to it for a bit. We know for a fact that it's moved on a couple of stages since then, but since those haven't appeared in videos right away, we'll leave it there and get started on all the other events and mishaps that occurred to the Hermits on the Empire's SMP server this week. While on the topic of death and dying, Cubfan135 is out on the server making sure every Empire is consumed in skulk. In his quest for more jobs, Cub agrees to investigate the mangrove swamp surrounding Shovel's hut, and having ventured into the Evermorian fog, he comes back a man changed. Now dedicated to spreading the skulk and burning the souls, Cub installs over 2,300 skulk catalysts across the server, some even directly in Hermitopia's primary mob grinder.
See, when they die on the campfires... Oh, there's some skulk right there. Let's go! Here it is. Dear God. This one. There we go.
It doesn't help that he also swaps the exposed light sources for soul flame versions of them. The infestation even creeps through the End and the Nether, though that one might take longer to notice, since on this server the Nether hub is on the bedrock roof.
Kind of long-term prank is going to work. What we hope will happen is this. And because I've placed a skulk sensor down, when Scar shoots it and ultimately slays it, bam! There we go. Skulk blocks and skulk veins now show up, and you see that made me quite happy there. Truly a great day to spread the skulk.
A second but cuter plague comes to the server, shepherded in by Joe Hills, who heard the organizational metaphor about herding cats and took it very literally.
Do you like goat horns? I got goat horns.
The common question becomes, why the cats? For which he has a range of answers.
I mean, you know, I just felt lonely after leaving the hermits as an enemy of a state. And,
oh my God, run,
Joe,
Scar!
they love me!
Run!
But Scar does executively unban him from Hermitopia, so here's hoping they have a pets allowed policy.
can I have that in writing? Okay,
Of course, I am the prime hermit. Jeez, what are you talking about?
yeah, bring that in writing.
Still looking for work, Joe ends up hired in two places. Cogsmead, where False Symmetry asks him to spy on someone who turns out to be False Symmetry but shorter, and My Ancient Capital Museum, where his pinball playing experience should actually come in handy. Joe's night at the museum is interrupted by the sudden spread of skulk as Cubfan's handiwork comes to light. Confronting Cub about it doesn't get him anywhere, so Joe begins systematically digging up, mapping, and in some cases face-planting all the hidden catalysts.
But in the short term, it doesn't look like Cub planted any more catalysts down here. So that's a good get in terms of our own education. I found one.
Between being the Tag E and the Tag Impulse SV notes the corruption spreading around Hermitopia and decides to spend his time off the ground. His main order of business is moving the concrete converter and Grian's mud farm somewhere more permanent, but the skulk follows him in the form of a sinister visit from Cubfan. And after being sufficiently creeped out, I'd want to drop some anvils on someone too.
Yeah,
yeah,
it keeps,
sure, of course,
I
yeah.
keep trying to do the villager thing, make it look good. The skulk everywhere,
that's
you know?
what we like to see. I mean, that's terrible, yeah. Yeah, that's...
Rendog's cozy existence at his brand new starter house is interrupted by Azuma stopping by and introducing him to the concept of Hermitopia.
I mean, everything that's happened is weird so far.
Azuma,
Smells a bit, does it?
do you smell that? It's
a potent stench.
Is it another player?
I don't know what it is, but I want to go home at some point, dude.
The Colossus of farms and builds impresses Ren enough that he agrees to become 2 pixels shorter in Solidarity, but not 2 pixels shorter than Solidarity, who's currently half the size of everyone else. Either way, Ren is a few hands higher when he picks up a new mount, selling me one of his first 13 items in exchange for a dodo he lovingly names Deirdre. This new physically and socially mobile Ren is all ready for the adventuring life, if only he could pick up a pair of wings that weren't attached to a long-extinct bird.
Although, we should probably start thinking about getting an elytra at some point, as there's still so much to see, and more importantly, and as far as I know, we are currently the only player on the server without an elytra.
The ordeal with false symmetries and how there's 2 of her continues, even if Hermitcraft False is very busy trying to tie most of Hermitopia together, which is a tall order given both how eclectic the shapes offered are and also how, well, the thing is tall. Of special note is the meeting room at the tippy top brandishing the Hermitopia signage as well as a planetary globe, even though the Minecraft Earth is generally assumed to be a cube.
Oh, yes. Yeah, in case people don't know, Hermitopia, just also checking that I haven't missed any blocks for it real quick, but no, it seems to be pretty good.
Though the recent developments with Cubfan chase her all the way back to the Spy Tower of Cogsmead, and so does Mythical Sausage somehow.
Hello? That's new.
Oh, hi! I apologize. Yeah, I'm the sewage inspector. Sorry about this. I just wanted to test this out, make sure everything is up to code.
Oh, okay, for now.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm the
Okay.
inspector, and I'm going to tell everyone else it's safe. It's safe. Just put a little sewer grate or something to protect it.
Yeah. It's safe. Bye.
Much more importantly, someone has snatched her notebook out of her workspace, and we know from last week that it was probably the Empire's false symmetry. The project of making the Hermitian conglomerate of redstone into something presentable is helped by a Zoomovoid, though it's tough to say where one's architecture ends and another begins, which is entirely the aesthetic here, don't get me wrong. With a better understanding where the walls begin and end, X clears out the skulk already inhabiting the lower level of Hermit storage and replaces it with a layer of warped nylium. Joke's on him, the skulk is already waiting in the end, where the gang goes to fight the 2 wither bosses.
Spread the skulk, guys, yes, it's happening! It's happening!
Kill the Enderman!
Let's go! So, well done.
That's what you were here for, right?
That was not why I came.
That's the main purpose of
I
this
came here
visit.
for a nether
Yes,
star,
indeed.
and all I've done is lose my crossbow. This was an awful thing.
Grian does a wither fight as well, though a much more fearsome adversary turns out to be Jimmy, who snags the nether star right from under their nose.
Wait, a trade for it, a trade.
okay.
A trade.
A trade.
A trade.
That's gonna teach him not to summon an all-destructive boss monster next to a populated base. By the way, Scar, thanks for populating it.
In front of me, alright? You have just battled on my...
I built that wallpaper. I can damage it if I want to.
I actually think this is actually technically Joel's base, seeing as he's built over 50% of it.
To a significant degree, the beacon is but a lamp helping with the design part of Hermitopia Grian is responsible for, and it just happens to be the part with a Grumbot on it. This one is lacking in circuitry for now, though, and is therefore taking a nap. Also, no Mumbo is harmed in the making of this one, so doesn't that make him a Grinbot? Just saying, Grian deserves a higher billing after he had to scour the Piglin bastions for rare as all get out gilded Blackstone just to put this new robot together.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the only way to obtain gilded Blackstone. We're going to play with fire for a little while.
The Piglin kind does not escape unpunished. Somewhere on the nether roof, iJevin dedicated a significant amount of effort to building a gold farm. As usual, the zombie pigmen spawn on the magma platforms and make their way to the drop chute while chasing a turtle egg. Not as usual is that the spoils are automatically rechanneled into a piglin bartering circuit, which makes this less of a gold farm and more of a half the stuff in the nether farm.
Everybody else is working and you're not working. Why are you being a jerk? So at a time it took a little while, but sometimes it will just not work properly. I'm not gonna make that jump. It'll never happen.
I4 trading is in vogue anyway. Zombie Cleo finds out there's a whole underground marketplace for unorthodox exchanges. Scott Smager leads her down to his secret bazaar under the bridge and even allows her to open her own little shoplet, though it doesn't actually sell you much other than a promise. In reality, Cleo pops down a dropper to function as a Hermitcraft-powered gambling machine. Buying a pull, you win one of the 9 shulker boxes of varying filament. Though joke's on her, some of us would be happy with just the shulker box too.
There's no rules.
Well, I mean, apart from you can't steal things, but aside from that,
I can't. But what if I've already stolen the things to sell in the market? Because you know,
you
there's
can
a lot
steal
of
things and then sell them in the market. That's what I've been doing.
My trident. It's been stolen.
Aha! That's I was gonna not name names, but it's Scott.
The sun shines as per usual when BOO visits the server, which technically he's doing all the time because he is now omnipresent. Having heard Mythical Sausage say that he's the number 3 god around here, B-Dubs constructs a beautiful sun temple to work his way into Sausage's good graces, but then challenges Sausage himself to build the interior, kind of the building equivalent of a backhanded compliment.
You the interior of this, and good luck, cause it's a difficult puzzle with weird rooms all over the place, and it's gonna be hard.
Being the new god on the block makes things a little tense when he runs into Pearl, but luckily B-Dubs can laugh it off.
I quit. I'll give up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I quit.
You're so small.
Pearl herself has been making a house a home in Chromia, but she still stops by Hermitopia to bless them with a Logical Geek Boy designed crop farm. At which point the local sheriff introduces himself and prods her into wearing a silly hat, and after scaring the life out of me on the nether roof, the ninja cat, she gets into warden wrangling in the lower levels of Gobland.
I'm so glad I put in that second bell. So he's name tag. Bob says it's tag time. All right. And down he goes.
And finally, back on the real Hermitcraft server, XB Crafted and Vintage Beef are really settling into the idea that they own everything now. XB, for example, owns this eclectic shantytown that he definitely built himself.
It's a little run down, right? It's a little disheveled. It's fine. I did that on purpose, okay? Because, you know, it's abandoned server and stuff.
The two new apparent owners of Hermitcraft meet up to count the shopping district profits between them, install comfy new cushions on the 2 non-exploded thrones of the castle, and decide what they should do with the zombified statue of former King Rendog. They decide to split it down the middle, although they're not entirely certain along which axis.
Splitsies? So half and half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get the top half. Oh, you mean vertical halves.
Vintage Beef is similarly split on how to generate trading card stats for the other absent hermits. Deciding Stress Monster is best represented by a Stressful Monster, he gets a pint-sized warden to push the buttons for him, which may have had more dramatic consequences than anyone ever expected.
I somehow have the feeling that I need to push the buttons again. Okay, everything is go. That's the power of the scary mods. Let's just push the buttons again really quickly.
And that's pretty much it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. And while you're waiting for Grumbot to wake up on the Empire's server, you might want to freshen up on what the heck a Grumbot is anyway. For that, we have a video in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.